Hello, everyone. Today, I want to invite you into a moment. Not just any moment, but a single point in time where the entire future of technology was balanced on a knife's edge. It's a story about a device that now lives in billions of pockets. But it's more than that. It's a story about the mind of one man, standing alone in the darkness backstage, just moments before he would step into the light and attempt to bend the future to his will. His name was Steve Jobs. If you've ever swiped to unlock a phone, pinched to zoom on a photo, or felt the magic of the entire internet in the palm of your hand, you have already felt his legacy. But on the morning of January 9th, 2007, that legacy was nothing more than a fragile, desperate gamble. This story is not just a biography of what happened that day. It's a lesson in conviction, in storytelling, and in the immense courage it takes to pursue a vision that no one else can see. By the end of this, you will not just understand the history of the iPhone. You will feel the pressure, the fear, and the unshakable belief that brought it to life. So let's travel back in time, into the silence before the storm, and explore the mind story of Steve Jobs in his most pivotal moment. To truly grasp the magnitude of that morning, we must first remember the world Steve Jobs was about to challenge. The year is 2006. The kings of the mobile world were Nokia, BlackBerry, and Motorola. Our phones were tools, not companions. They were defined by their limitations. Imagine a tiny pixelated screen, a physical keyboard with small plastic buttons that you had to press repeatedly to type a single message. The internet was a place you visited on a desktop computer. On your phone, it was a slow, crippled, and painful experience. This was not a failure of technology, it was a failure of imagination. The industry believed that this was what people wanted: practicality over beauty, function over feeling. But inside the secretive walls of Apple's headquarters, a different belief was taking shape. For over 2 years, a small, elite team had been working on Project Purple. The secrecy was so extreme it was almost paranoid. Employees on the project disappeared behind locked doors, forbidden to talk about their work, even to their families. They were building a ghost. Steve Jobs was the conductor of this secret orchestra, and he was a demanding one. He didn't ask for an improvement. He demanded a revolution. His vision was simple to state, but almost impossible to achieve. A magical piece of glass that could do anything. No keyboard, no stylus, just your finger. An operating system as powerful as a Mac, running on a device that could fit in your pocket. Our first major piece of analysis begins here. This wasn't just a product goal, it was a philosophical statement. Jobs believed that technology should be invisible, that it should get out of the way and connect the user directly to their content. The physical keyboard, in his eyes, was a barrier. It was a permanent set of keys for a world that needed infinite possibilities. Removing it was not a design choice. It was an act of liberation. But this liberation came at a tremendous cost. The prototype iPhones in the weeks before the Macworld keynote were notoriously unstable. They were beautiful bricks. The software would crash. The Wi-Fi would disconnect. The battery would drain in minutes. The engineers, terrified of a public failure, created what they called a golden path. This was a secret, pre-planned sequence of actions that Jobs had to perform on stage in a specific order to avoid the phone's many bugs. Any deviation could cause the entire device to freeze. Think about that pressure. The demo wasn't a confident display of a finished product. It was a perfectly choreographed theatrical performance where one wrong move would bring the entire production crashing down. The world's press, competitors, and fans were all waiting. The CEO of Microsoft, Steve Ballmer, had famously laughed at the concept. He said, "There's no chance that the iPhone is going to get any significant market share." He was speaking for the entire industry. They were all waiting for Steve Jobs to fail. And so, in the final moments before the show, with a prototype in his pocket that was more of a prayer than a product, Steve Jobs stood alone. And he thought, okay, just a few more minutes. Feel the stage lights, the hum of the crowd. They're all out there waiting. Some are hoping for magic. Most are waiting for a mistake. They think they know what's coming. Another iPod, a better phone. They have no idea. They see the world in terms of market share, feature lists, and plastic buttons. Ballmer and his guys, They're looking at a spreadsheet. They're analyzing the past. But you can't connect the dots looking forward. You just have to trust. Trust that what you're doing is right. And this is right. I know it is. I feel it. This isn't about building a better phone. Anyone can do that. This is about building a better future. A future where technology becomes an extension of you. Natural, intuitive. A future where you touch the software. That's the core of it all. The multi-touch. They told me it was impossible for years, that you can't have a capacitive screen this big, this responsive, that a human finger isn't precise enough. They saw the problems, but I saw the magic. The feeling of flicking through your photos like a deck of cards, the feeling of pinching to zoom into a map of the world. It's not a feature. It's a feeling. It's poetry. But will the demo hold? Will the software crash? Tony and the team, they've slept in the lab for weeks. They've built the golden path. I just have to walk it perfectly. Don't open that email and then try to browse the web. Play the song first, then show the photo. Follow the script. It feels like a lie, showing something so fragile as if it's perfect. But it's not a lie. It's a preview. It's a promise. The software will catch up to the vision. It has to. Forget the bugs. Forget the risk. Remember the story. This is storytelling. You're not a CEO right now. You're a storyteller. And every great story needs a simple, powerful structure, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Act 1. The iPod. Start with what they know and love. We revolutionized music. Now we're going to revolutionize it again with a widescreen iPod you can touch. They will applaud. They will feel comfortable. Act 2. The phone. This is the disruption. Show them everything that's wrong with their current smartphones. Clumsy buttons, complicated menus. Then, show them visual voicemail. A simple, elegant solution to a problem they didn't even know could be solved. That's when their minds will start to open. That's when they'll lean in. Act 3. The internet. This is the climax, not the mobile internet, the real internet. In your pocket, a real browser. Show them the full New York Times website. Zoom in on a photo. This is the moment they stop seeing it as a phone. This is the moment they see it as a revolution. The moment they realize their BlackBerry is a dinosaur, an iPod, a phone, an internet communicator. 3 things. But it's not 3 devices. It's 1 device. Let the idea build. Repeat it. Let it sink in. Don't sell them a product. Sell them an idea. An idea so powerful it makes their current reality seem obsolete. This is why we're here. Not to compete with Nokia, but to make them irrelevant. To put a dent in the universe. It's time. Let the show begin. That inner monologue reveals a mind operating on a completely different level. The success of the iPhone launch was not luck. It was the result of a specific and powerful way of thinking. Let's distill this into 3 core principles. 3 lessons we can learn from that historic moment. Principle number 1, the gospel of simplicity. The most striking part of Jobs' thinking is his obsession with simplicity. The world of technology in 2007 was a world of complexity. More buttons, more features, more acronyms. It was a race to add more. Jobs' genius was in his relentless pursuit of taking things away. His entire presentation was a masterclass in this. He took a device that represented years of complex engineering and boiled it down to a simple 3-part story. An iPod, a phone, an internet communicator. This is the first piece of commentary we must understand. Great communication isn't about showing how much you know. It's about making the complex feel simple. While his competitors were publishing 1,000-page manuals, Jobs was crafting a 3-act play. He knew the human mind doesn't fall in love with a feature list. It falls in love with a clear, compelling idea. The removal of the keyboard was the ultimate expression of this philosophy. It was a bet that simplicity was not just an aesthetic choice, but a fundamental improvement to functionality. Principle number 2, the visionary's conviction. Jobs was not following a market trend. He was creating one. Every piece of data told him that business users wanted physical keyboards. But here is the second critical insight. True innovation is often born from a conviction that contradicts the available data. Jobs had a deep intuitive belief about how humans should interact with technology. He trusted his own taste, his own intuition, more than he trusted focus groups or market research. He famously said, "People don't know what they want until you show them." This is not arrogance. It is the definition of a visionary. A visionary's job is not to give people a faster horse, but to invent the car. This requires an immense amount of courage. The courage to be laughed at by your peers, like Steve Ballmer did. The courage to bet the company on an unproven idea. This conviction is the force that allows a leader to push through the "it's impossible" phase of any great project. Without that almost irrational self-belief, the iPhone would have died in the lab. Principle number 3, the experience is the product. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, Jobs understood something that many businesses still forget. The way you feel when using a product is more important than what the product can do. His inner monologue wasn't about the processor. It was about the feeling of pinching to zoom. It was about the magic of visual voicemail. This is our third and most profound piece of analysis. Jobs didn't sell technology. He sold an experience. From the design of the box to the swoosh sound of an email being sent, every single detail was crafted to create an emotional response. His legendary presentations were part of this. The dramatic reveals, the one more thing moments, they were all part of the user experience. He knew that the story surrounding the product was as important as the product itself. While other companies were building gadgets, Steve Jobs was building a narrative. He was building a world, and the iPhone was simply the ticket to enter. So how do we, in our own lives, apply the thinking that launched the iPhone? We don't need to be a billionaire CEO to use these principles. First, embrace simplicity. Look at your next project, your next presentation, or even just an important email you need to write. Is it complicated? Is it full of jargon and unnecessary details? Stop and ask yourself, what is the simple 3-act story here? Find the core message and eliminate everything else. Whether you are leading a team or simply trying to make a point, clarity is your most powerful tool. Second, develop your conviction. We all have ideas that go against the grain. A different way to run a project, a new business idea, a career path that our family doesn't understand. The lesson from Jobs is to trust that intuition. Don't dismiss an idea just because no one has done it before. Instead, ask why not. Do your research, refine your vision, but ultimately have the courage to believe in your own taste, in your own judgment. True growth rarely happens in the comfort of consensus. Finally, focus on the experience. Whether you are designing a website, planning a birthday party, or leading a team meeting, stop thinking only about the function and start thinking about the feeling. How do you want people to feel at the end of this? Inspired, confident, understood? By starting with the desired emotional outcome, you can craft an experience that is memorable and impactful. Every detail matters, from the subject line of an email to the way you say hello in the morning. The launch of the iPhone was more than just a moment in tech history. It was a demonstration of a mindset that prioritizes simplicity in a complex world, that holds on to conviction in the face of doubt, and that believes the human experience is the ultimate measure of success. Steve Jobs walked onto that stage with a fragile prototype, but he carried a perfect, unbreakable vision in his mind. He taught us that technology at its best should be invisible. He taught us that the dots only connect looking backward, so we must trust in something. Our gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. And most of all, he reminded us that the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. The true legacy of that day is not the device itself. It's the permission it gave all of us to believe in our own crazy ideas, to obsess over quality, and to have the courage to put our own small dent in the universe.